Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and if you're an RVer or a camper, or planning to be, and you're also a CPAP user, then one of the first things you need to figure out is how to power your CPAP machine while you're RVing or camping. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 options of how to power your CPAP machine. Number 1 is through shore power. Number 2 is through your generator. Number 3 is through your house batteries. Number 4 is through a battery pack. And number 5 is through an auxiliary battery. And with all of these options, except for the battery pack, you can power your CPAP machine through either a 120 volt or 12 volt. Now, CPAP machine motors run on between 12 and 20 volts. So it's best to use 12 volt to power them rather than stepping up to a 120 volt power. Now when you buy a CPAP machine, it will come with a 120 volt power cord only. So if you are going to use it with 12 volt, then you need to buy a separate 12 volt cord. And those are easy to buy as accessories for the machine. Now if you're on shore power, that's the easiest way to do it, and it doesn't really matter whether it's 120 or 12. If you're on shore power, then you don't have much to worry about. But when you're off boondocking, away from shore power, then it's a bit of a challenge. You got decisions to make. And one option is to run your generator. Now using a generator is expensive because a generator will use anywhere from about a half a gallon to a gallon of fuel per hour, and that can get really expensive for using all night. Now if you're using your generator anyway so that you can use your air conditioner, then that's okay, it's not so bad. But if you're boondocking, you want to keep your power consumption down as much as you can, and that's when it's most beneficial to use 12 volt to power your CPAP machine. Because when you use 120 volt when you're boondocking, which you certainly can, it uses a little more power because then it has to go through the inverter, and the inverter itself consumes electricity just to operate. Now if you're running your inverter anyway all night, then that's not much of a problem. It is a problem if you have a portable inverter. So let's look at some other options. Your CPAP machine will have a connection like this that plugs into the back of it, and on the other end will be a regular 120 volt plug. However, if you get the 12 volt plug, then it looks like this. That plugs into a car 12 volt outlet. Some call it a cigarette lighter outlet. That goes right to the machine. And I have a 12 volt outlet right here next to my bed. And you can see it starting up. And when it's plugged into here, it's pulling power directly from the house batteries. Now I use this 12 volt splitter with 4 outlets. This one is going to my 12 volt fan there, and then I plug my CPAP machine into here, and I plug a 12 volt alarm clock into here, and then I also have other things that run off 12 volt that I may want to use, like I may plug my laptop battery charger into here and various other things, and sometimes I do have all 4 of those with plugs in them running various items. Now this is the cord that comes from the back of the splitter that I plug in to here, and you can see now that is starting up again. Now another option is to use a battery pack that is specifically designed for a CPAP machine, and you get those from the company that manufactures a CPAP machine, or you can buy those from Amazon or other places. It's pretty standard universal equipment. The problem with battery packs specifically designed for CPAP machines is that they're small and they're only designed to last one night, which means you got to charge them up again the next day to use it the next night. So how are you going to charge it back up? You would either have to do it by just pulling power from your house batteries of your RV, and there's really no point in doing that, or when you run your generator, which you would only want to do if you're running your generator for other purposes as well. And those battery packs are really intended for tent camping. If you're going to be tent camping out somewhere away from any shore power, then that's what they're pretty much designed for. But still, that means you can only camp for one night before you got to charge it up again. You may be able to go to some place like a visitor center where you may be camping in their campground and charge it up there. So recharging that little battery pack every day might be a challenge for you. So a better option is to use an auxiliary battery that would last much longer. So that's what I do. I have a 75 amp hour lithium battery that I use mainly to power my CPAP machine. And you do need to use lithium if you're going to do this, because regular lead acid batteries, they expel some toxic gas. And you don't want one of those sitting right next to your bed expelling a little bit of toxic gas all night long. That can turn out to be dangerous. But lithium batteries like this are very safe, and when this one is fully charged, it will last me around 12 days before I have to recharge it. And this is my battery charger here. I have it permanently connected to the battery, and when I want to recharge the battery, all I have to do is plug this into any outlet, and it recharges the battery, and it'll fully recharge that battery in about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Now there are two ways to connect your CPAP cord into a battery like that. These cords, you can actually get one where on the other end, instead of having a 12 volt outlet like that, it has these alligator clips that you clip right onto the battery, and that works just fine. However, I use my auxiliary battery for other things as well, like running my fans. This fan over there runs off of a USB outlet. So in order to make that convenient for me, I bought a portable inverter. And this is about the best you can get. There are many portable inverters. I like this one because it has two 12 volt outlets here that you can plug 12 volt things into, which is where I plug in my 4-way splitter, and then of course plug the CPAP machine into there. It also has 4 USB outlets. This one goes to my cell phone to charge my cell phone, and this one goes underneath the bed and over to that fan. And then these alligator clips go to my auxiliary battery. Now if you only have a 120 volt cord to your CPAP machine, you can still plug it into here using the inverter. However, to do that, you need to have the inverter turned on. And you can hear the fan going there. When you have this inverter running, it consumes power itself before actually using any power. So that makes it very inefficient to use the 120 volt outlet on an inverter like this, but you can do it if you have to. And for convenience, I keep my inverter right down here between my bed and that side table. Now I recharge my auxiliary battery only when I'm plugged into shore power. And like I said, it'll last me 12, sometimes 15 times, depending on how much fan usage I use during the night. And I will generally be in an RV park or a campground with shore power about at least once every 2 weeks. So that gives me an opportunity to charge my auxiliary battery and various other things when I'm in an RV park or a campground that has shore power, which I do, like I said, about every 2 weeks, mainly so that I can dump my waste tanks and fill up my freshwater tank, so I get everything done I can when I may be on shore power only 1 day out of 15 days or so. So those are the 5 options. You just have to decide which one is best for you. Good day, folks.